gentlemen. How are we doing? Everybody doing all right? Good to be on here once again. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Let me just do this here quickly. How's your week been? I hope that you are winning. I hope that you are ready for celebrating tomorrow, the Queen's celebration. You got all the. I don't know what are we going. What are we gonna? We can't have say mince pies. It's not mince pies, is it? No mince pies. The year for Christmas. Well, I'm going to be on here once again, and just to come on here, just to get stretched and to add value to for us to add value to one another. Um, Man, the sun is so nice out there. I'm like sometimes asking myself, Kendrick, what are you doing in here? What you gotta do. Give me 1 second, Jenny. I've got I've got screens all over the place here and it's just overlapping each other. Yeah. I think pretty much there. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I think I'm okay. All right. Well, um, for me it's been a busy one. It's been a good week. Wednesday just blink. It's Wednesday again, and but I'm excited about Wednesdays because I get to see you guys. Um, well, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about how we can continue to pursue our dreams and what's required for us to build a dream. Because all of us, we are dreaming. All of us, I hope that you are. I hope that you're carrying a dream in your heart. Whether it's in your heart or in your head, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got something that you are working towards. Why is that important? Because it keeps us going. So that we don't live a life that is aimless. We don't live a life that is just kind of like by the way. No, we are very, very specific on what it is we're after. Now, um, good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Uh, so when we're talking about building a dream, we mentioned a couple of things. Obviously, we started off by talking about ownership. Whether you are the one that is owning your dream or are you building somebody else's dream? Um, I think that's very important for us to know. Why is that? Because um, you don't want to get on the other side of the line and then realize, oh my goodness, I've not been doing anything regarding the thing that is in my heart. I've been working on somebody else's dream. And uh, well, we've got to own it. We've got to own it. Own your dream and make sure it's your dream that you are working on. We also spoke about clarity and are you clear on what it is that you're after? Because I think it's when we are kind of like not focused and we just like dragging our feet and we it's like whatever will be will be. And I think when we in that situation pursuing a dream, when we don't see results, we kind of like get frustrated and we feel like, oh my goodness, do I even know what I'm doing? I know what's in my heart, I know what I desire, but how come I'm not seeing any results? It might be because of a lack of clarity. It might be a lack of clarity. I got my brother on here. Let him in. Let me in. Let me in.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, sir. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm well. Sorry for joining late.
That's okay, sir. Even myself, I've been scrambling a little bit this morning. You see, I'm still in the morning. The day went so quick. I'm still in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
today was something else, man. I just got back from London, and
Right.
it's like you saw that link just came through like 1 minute before eight. I'm like, whoa! It just just made it on time. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. We kind
Yeah.
of like just as long as we make it happen. As long as we make it
Yes.
happen. I'm just taking the guys through what we spoke about over the past couple of weeks regarding
Lovely.
a dream, own dream and clarity. Last thing I mentioned is like you got to be clear what it is that you're after.
Yes.
Because usually we don't see any results because of the lack of clarity, the lack of focus, a lack of knowing specifically what it is that we want.
Yes.
So we touched on that. We looked at reality. Do
Yes.
you have a pipe dream? It's like that dream is like it's like way there, but you are not in touch with reality as in where you are right now and where you're looking to go.
Mm.
Because if the Bible even say a heart hope deferred makes the heart sick. So if our hopes are way up there, but what we are working on, it doesn't balance out in terms of where we are right now. Obviously, yeah, we continue to stretch. But if I say by the end of this year, I want, not even the end of this year, in the next 6 months, I want to make $1 million. The question is, how much are you making right now?
Well, I think the bigger question also is are my steps and my thoughts, sorry, are my actions and my thoughts lining up towards my goal?
Yeah, that's it.
And sometimes we get a little bit I don't want to say thrown off track. We get completely kicked off orbit.
Yeah.
And the reason I said orbit is because you think about just space, and the minute you make too much of a wrong move, you could completely lose it.
Yeah.
We get kicked off by that purely because we are trying to make big moves. Everybody wants to make a move that everybody wants to make a move that's going to bring in the million, and don't realize that it's a combination of little things.
Yeah.
So you might start off with $5,000, and you check and see, wait, I've had a $5,000 increase, and then you realize that you need to perfect something.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, when you look at the thing as a whole or accumulation, I'm hunting for a word. That's why I'm saying that. When you look at it as a set of stuff coming together, you realize, yeah. And then boom, you might walk into that. Might mean you only have reached 35,000 by that time. But then up comes opportunity that presents a continuous 50,000, 100,000, 200,000.
Yeah.
So at the end of that 6 months, you might not have made $1 million, but you're not where you were.
Yeah, that's it.
And sometimes we discount these things. And because we discount them, we go completely off orbit and we shut the thing down.
Yeah, that's it. And that's about staying in touch with reality. As in, all right, where am I? And knowing, because that brings us back to being intentional, because you know exactly where you are, and you know exactly where you want to go, and you know exactly the steps that you need to take, and you know what tools is in your toolbox, and you know what your weaknesses are, you know what your strengths are, you know what help is in close by, who's with you on this journey. But if you're not in touch with reality, and it's like, nah, man, every day 2,000, you make 3,000.
Reality sometimes is the fact that you think some people's reality are very different because they live on a Christian reality which says by faith, but then they're doing by faith with no actions. Sometimes the actions do follow through the faith, but all of a sudden they've added another ingredient which just makes the pot completely horrible, which is they might go from an income from 1,000 to 3,000. But what they didn't realize is that they increased the expenditure to 3,500.
I know.
And they're saying by faith we shall get there, but they're not in reality.
And the thing that I like about when we're talking about being real and actually stepping into, realizing your reality, because the truth of the matter is what you're actually even living now as the reality is not even true. It's true to you because it's your reality, but it's not true to me because that's not my experience. That's not the world that I'm living in. And I think once we own and take responsibility of what's happening within our lives, and we will then be at a place where we can say that I can change this reality. I can take it. I can take it from where it is right now, and can create my own reality. But if I'm out of touch of what's at present happening, what is presently happening in my life right now, uh, I'm 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 basically living a lie. I'm kind of like got my head stuck in a pie piece, and just hoping that everything will work out fine
Well, I think
because I
I
have a
think
plan, not because
yeah.
I have a plan, but just because I'm wishing that things can be better.
Well,
Uh,
that's it. That is exactly what you're saying is interesting, because I'm going to borrow a word which we used a lot in a couple weeks ago,
mm,
and
mm,
that word is authentic. Too
yeah.
many of us base our own goals, visions, dreams, whatever for our lives, base it on a comparison life living,
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
comparison experience of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, for example, you might have a particular car, but I don't know why you have that car,
Mm,
right? And so all of a sudden, I decide, I should have a car like Kendrick.
mm, yeah.
But but when you actually, if you only found out why Kendrick have that ar, then you realize actually there's no need for you to have a car like that. But you're basing your dreams based on Kendrick's um, Kendrick's life and living experience. And then you meet another friend and he's driving something even more fancy, and you have no idea why he has that car. So the more I like when you said ownership, but the more that you can also allow your authentic self, because you're doing this for you. You got to remember that you're not doing this to get affirmation from somebody else. That will come, um, but it does not have the impact at all compared to when you realize, right, this is me. This is going to be a make or break. And when I do X, Y, Z, I aim as a result to be a blessing to somebody. You see what I mean? But some people then turn around and it's like they're doing these things to prove a point to somebody, to show somebody something. You need to do these things to prove a point to yourself. Right?
Yeah.
When you begin to do this work, basically, it's just like a kid doing the homework.
Mm,
A lot of times they think they're doing it to please mommy or daddy,
yeah. Yeah.
but not to realize only until they're quite older, come to realize that all these little steps that mommy and daddy were trying to make you focus
Yeah.
on, it was about you.
Yep. Yeah.
You see, it's not about, it's a lot of grown men at this particular point go to work, do the job to make the boss feel happy.
Mm,
But little do you know, you do this work, it is you exercising your muscles in that particular job area and
mm,
giving yourself the opportunity to learn by practical experience.
yeah.
So the aim now is, if you can perfect and learn, perfect and learn, perfect and learn, it means you're improving you.
Yeah.
When the time comes and you would have finished that journey at that particular company or environment or whatever, you should be in a position where you're better off than when you started.
Yeah.
So if you go there just to impress the boss, to get a raise, to be in a nice clique, to be told that you're always the best, one day the boss is not going to smile at you. He's not going to be on them, and it has nothing to do with you.
Mm,
He's just not in a good mood.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But then you take it personal. Yeah, if I want to do coaching, but rather than focusing on my progression, I am then looking at you to give me affirmation. The one day
Mm,
you're going to not respond in the way that I was hoping that you would respond.
yeah.
What does that mean? All of a sudden I should throw away my coaching dream? No. Every day you get up and go out there, realize that you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
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 So if you stomp your feet, if you walk into a brick wall, at the end of the day, understand that, okay, look, it was a move that I should not have made, but you made it. Guess what? It's a
Mm.
good thing you made it too,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's meant to be a lesson.
That's it. That's it.
I
That's
can
it.
say this with hindsight. Yeah. At the
Mm.
time, a lot of things I took personal, all these things. Now, in hindsight, you look back and you think, oh man, it's a good thing I did that. Actually, I wonder how many more of this I could just knock out quickly and just do. So I know what I have to
Yeah.
do better going
Yeah.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting, that one.
Yeah, and I like the way you're putting it because it comes down to to owning your reality, like what you're saying, being responsible for whether it is a good result, bad result, or no. You know,
Yes.
I say
Yes.
it's up to me because then it puts me in a very powerful position where I can change what I don't like. I can
And
change.
not only that,
I,
sorry to cut you, but not only that,
mm,
it makes you more attractive
mm,
to the people who God has put in place
yeah,
to help pull that potential out to you and
yeah,
take you to the next level.
that's it. That's
Because
it.
it encourages a good attitude. It
Yeah,
encourages humbleness. It
mm,
encourages so much that you don't realize comes out.
yeah, yeah.
But when you do it the flip side and you're doing it because of somebody, all of a sudden your attitude is very, not the best attitude at all, and therefore people distance themselves from you
Mm,
now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
funny enough, you might think nobody likes me, nobody want to hear from me. Da, da, da.
Mm,
Actually, they're waiting on you to change your attitude.
mm. That's it.
It's
That's
true.
it.
Yeah.
And that puts us at a place of power because now you don't have to blame it on anybody else because you come to realize, listen, if I just tweak this, if I change this, I can change my reality.
Yes.
And I think it comes down to because I think many of us we don't live life. Um, um, okay, what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like um, it's almost like we live life to please those around us, yeah.
Mm.
But in the meantime, we are miserable. In the meantime, we are not living a life of authenticity. We're living we kind of like walk around with masks. So which means we get certain results, and then when I'm getting certain results, but it's not desirable, I'm asking myself like, okay, well, how did they show up? Because we're attracting just basically based on how we interacting with people, how we what vibes it is that we are giving off. Those are the things that we are attracting to ourselves. Is But I think if we step into knowing exactly, all right, this is the life that this is a dream that I'm building. I'm being real. I'm being authentic, my authentic self, and I'm not trying to be somebody that is trying to please everyone because it's impossible to please everybody. But if I step into that place where I know I can be happy with me, I can be happy with yes, I'm continuously improving. I'm continuously on a journey of growth, but at least I'm not doing it to be in everyone's goodie books or whatever you want. I'm
I
being
was about to laugh when you said
Mm,
please everybody, because I don't know how many people like this experience this, but
mm,
when my wife sometimes asks me in the morning, babe, what would you like for breakfast? I have no idea.
mm,
I don't know if I want tea. Do I want lemon, hot lemon water? Do I
mm,
want? So sometimes I'm like, you think to yourself, you know, it's not a good when you made that phrase. It's not a good thing to even think about pleasing. Be a people pleaser, because question is, can you please yourself?
that's it.
Can you do stuff on a daily basis, 365 days a year, and say to yourself, I'm happy with every single one? And the other example I gave was,
Mm,
because imagine your wife trying to give you a great start in the morning. You have no idea what you want.
mm,
She can't help you. So you can't help yourself. You
mm,
can't help nobody. So
yes.
I think the real thing here is that um, being your authentic self is an ongoing thing.
Mm.
Being a thing where you're realizing how you are. It's not a one-off thing where you say, right, so this is me, and then that is the base, and therefore you're human, you're living. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to say living organism, but you're living.
Mm.
And therefore, because that, everything is subject to change.
Mm.
And with that in mind, you've got to be prepared to handle change. And to be able to handle change, you've got to accept yourself as a person as saying, well, you know what? That is why I guess a lot of people say things like, start off your day with being grateful.
Mm.
Start
Yeah.
off with affirmation. Basically, they're self-reminders,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes you get up and some thoughts that enter your head, they're really not positive.
Mm. Mm.
And going through a certain motion, you find that when you don't have, and some people struggle with this, when you don't have, or you're not a person that is at a stage yet when you've realized that you're working with your authentic self, you
Mm.
find all these processes and things mumble jumble.
Yeah.
But when you get to a stage where you realize every second counts,
Yeah.
I'm here to make a difference in my life before I can make a difference in anybody else's life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, it's like an effort to try and get the day started on the right foot becomes the biggest thing since sliced bread that you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not only getting your mind in the right, in the right frame set and all of that, but
Mm.
as a Christian also, it's about giving yourself the opportunity to hear what God got to say to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because once you hear what He has to say, it helps you to put a lot of things into perspective for that day. That becomes so much easier. Not saying that you're going to have days sailing everything like a sailor that never touches the wheel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't learn, you won't grow. You know. But that, with the help of the Holy Spirit, allowing yourself to accept that help, to hear that help, to act
Mm.
on that help. These are big things, but you don't get to that stage mentally unless you really allow yourself to be
Mm.
the best you can be. Otherwise, all you're doing is you go by John and you see John got a 90-inch TV and you got a 21-inch.
Mm.
Now, your salary can't even afford a 60-inch, but you hurrying for the 90 whatever inch that John got. Yeah, you're seeing
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's when you're not living your life through the lens that God gave you.
Mm. Mm.
Because you might be surprised. Sometimes you focus on what you focus on, and all of a sudden you think, aha, so now I've got 100 inches. John only got 91-inch TV, you know. You think,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then one day, when the pin drops and you realize, wait, it was never about the TV, was it?
Mm. Yeah.
You spent the last
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to get
That's
the
it.
TV. Then John, you invite John over, and John, you show John. You're not even telling John you got a new TV. You just put him in front of the TV so he notices it.
Let's see if you
And
know.
then the funny thing is that John says to you, you know what? Me and my wife, we're actually remodeling and putting in a cinema.
Now you're in trouble now. You
So
gotta
it's
go talk to
very,
them
the
about it.
reason I'm pulling
Yeah.
out these things is
Mm.
not saying you mustn't go after the best things in
Mm.
life that you think you should have. But I'm trying to say to you that material things should never be a focus on, never use comparison to achieve your goals.
Mm.
I think in line with what we are saying here with, uh, living a life of reality and being real,
Mm.
is that it's never somebody else's fault. It's always going to
Mm.
start with you, and
Yeah.
it's going to end with you.
Mm.
You know.
That's it.
So
That's
I think, for clarity's sake, forget about all the fluff and all the fancy stories I just told. I'm speaking in line, very clear with us being real.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but what you're saying is very powerful, because if you really look at it, um, there will never be any real progress if we always continue to live a life of comparison.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
what we do, then we undermine what you undermine your own strengths. You
Yes.
being ungrateful, you undermine the gifts that, and you are being drained of energy that is like, my goodness, you, by the time you finish going through social media and keeping an eye on John, it's like you don't even have enough energy to go and make love to your wife, because all your energy's been drained.
Well,
Because you-
probably you're doing that now, and you're probably thinking, "Am I as good as John?" It has
it,
nothing to do. It has nothing to do with John. You are just somehow obsessed with John's progress, while John is focused.
yeah,
You understand?
yeah,
And John is continuing to be a blessing. And what you realize now, all of a sudden, you think John has done something. John, and you are eroding a relationship. You are so. What are the symptoms or benefits of comparison? And that's exactly what they are.
mm,
You develop the wrong attitude. You become suspicious of everybody. These are some of the things that show forth when you are going down the road via the wrong thing, wearing the wrong shoes, riding the wrong bicycle. Um, and when I say these things, I'm using those words as hypothetical things, not real shoes and real bicycle. I'm actually saying that you're trying to realize. It's like if you're trying to realize profits, but you're being a thief. Simple as that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think, yeah, if so if you're not a book person, yeah, for example, but you're good with your hands, so you maybe carpentry, plumber, all
Mm,
these things, you know don't go and compare yourself with a man that sits in the office, or a man that because what you might be missing here is very serious. You might be very good at what you do.
mm,
Yeah. For example, you ask me to paint. I cannot do cornering and all these other bits that people do.
mm,
it, this thing will look like if you actually take a spray gun and you spray it. Yeah.
mm,
Like the neatness of how some people work with a brush when they're painting.
mm.
Now, me and my computer, don't ask me to do something as good as I do not have the skill set of that,
Yeah, yeah,
right? It would take me some time.
mm-hmm.
But you're being real with yourself, and then what you do, you begin to put down yourself. Oh, I need a degree. You don't need a degree to become skilled at that, because you already have the skill.
Mm,
Embrace the skill you have and go out there and enjoy the process,
mm,
enjoy the journey, begin to do the work, begin to put yourself, as they say, become one with the work.
yeah,
Now, what happens by that? You produce good work, one person see it, next thing before you know it, a company director may see it, who owns multiple buildings.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you didn't know that you was working on his cousin's house.
that's right, that's right.
He goes to dinner with his cousin, and he shows off this brand new kitchen that and dining room that you just completed for him.
Mm,
And he's like, I know you was doing this, but who did this for you?
mm,
You know who did that?
yeah,
That was Terrence that did it for me. Man, can I speak to this Terrence guy? Who is this?
yeah,
But you think because you don't have a degree and you can't, speak that well, and
mm,
your writing skills might not be up to par. No,
mm,
man, don't put yourself down. Just
mm-hmm,
be real. And people love you when you're real. Let me
mm,
give you an example that I love. There was a king, I can't remember, um, uh, but I I knew he had a stammering problem.
mm-hmm.
King of the UK, of Great Britain.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he practiced and he practiced. He owned that thing.
mm,
He worked very hard on it.
mm-hmm,
And he didn't run away. He went up there and he spoke to the entire public.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember this.
And he was still king.
Yeah, they made a movie. They made a movie of him. I can't.
Yes,
Yeah, I remember.
yes.
I remember that. Yeah,
And
I
that thing
remember.
was very, very inspiring to me that, okay, he didn't all of a sudden get some spokesman to go in public to do a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
It was frustrating, like based on the movie that I saw.
yeah, yeah. And that's where the power is lying, isn't it? Because there are certain things that you can do if you are stepping in your strength, if you kind of like knowing this is what I'm good at. There are certain things that you can do that nobody else can do it. Like they kind of like try to copy the way you do it, but it will only come out in a certain way when you
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
And I think when we find that part of us,
It's very powerful. Nothing can stop.
if we find that part of us, that's where money is lying, that's where your success is lying, that's where you I mean, it's discover yourself, that's where your purpose is lying. Everything is lying in the fact that you embrace what you're good at, you embrace who you are.
Yes.
And as men, I think because you've mentioned earlier about comparison, I think it's just because we tend to walk in this sense of low self-esteem. It's like, a lack of confidence, because we've been told that we've got nothing to give. We've been told that what we have is insignificant, or we've never been told what we have is amazing. Nobody really believed in us, because one of the greatest things that anybody can ever do for us is to believe in us.
Yes.
If you find a man that can believe in you, if you can find somebody that can say, you know what, Kendrick, I know that you're a little bit messed up. You try all kind of different things. You do it, but if you stay with it, I believe in you. Just keep on going, keep on going. There's something that happens on the inside of you when somebody talks to you in that way. There's something that happens. You can't even. It's almost like you want to go the extra mile, because it's like you don't want to disappoint, because this person is believing in me. My goodness, Kendrick say I can do this. Let me just go. And if we can find that person that can really speak life into us, that's an amazing place to be.
Yes.
Because then we kind of like get to a place where like, wow, I didn't even realize that I'm capable of doing these things. And then when you get to the other side, then you come to realize, thank God for sending John to me. Thank God for sending Clinton to me. Thank God for sending Paul to me. Why is that? Because I needed somebody to speak to me. I needed somebody to encourage me. I needed somebody to believe in me. And I think as men, we all need that.
I think if we fast forward, I wouldn't say fast forward, if we rewind a little bit, some of us men may be able to relate to a few instances where it's not our fault necessarily that we started down the road of comparison. Comparison would have started by our parents. When they say, why you can't be like Mary? Why you can't be like Terence?
Yeah.
Right? And just that moment there begins to, because then the child begins to feel he or she's not good enough.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, sometimes that child behavior then becomes, so I'm saying this just to remind us now that although you may be experiencing something, you need to break the cycle now. Yeah. Because if you have a kid, you need to turn around and encourage them via the way you speak. Encourage them via the way. So in your moment, it's easy for some of us to say, man, when I don't know when I get upset, I don't know what I'm saying. Yes, we all go through that. As parents, there's no parent that can tell me you get so upset that you said something and when you're done. But guess the good thing about it. If as parents, when we get upset and we've made a mistake, we also got to be ready to own up to that mistake and confess it to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the way I spoke just now, that was just not right. But you're wrong. What you did was wrong. My
Yeah.
reaction, I got very upset, but that's not the way we should do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Daddy's going to work on it, but you got to work on your part.
Mm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter how young they are, they begin to realize that. They begin to understand the processes. I make a mistake, I confess it, yeah, I face up to it, and then I aim to do better.
Yeah. That's it.
That's real. That's taking
Mm.
responsibility.
Mm.
Yeah. And then you as the parent, stop comparing your child.
Mm.
Don't no matter what, do not compare your child. Don't say if Mary can do it, you can do it. No, say, listen, you can do it. You have it in you. Yeah.
That's it.
If you put a little bit more focus, sometimes my son don't want to do his homework.
Yeah.
Which kid goes through that wants to do homework?
Mm.
Don't matter how much your kid might be focused, there's going to become a moment when he or she just cannot be asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes we go through a process of, okay, listen, what about this? What we're going to do is this homework going to be done,
Mm.
right? And it will be done tonight.
Mm.
If you want to take a 5-minute break, yeah, and let's come back, refocus, and we come back.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get upset now and go down the road, like, you see, your brother finished his homework, you should be finished your homework. We tend to do that sometimes without realizing. Be careful.
Mm.
Because that's you sowing the seed right there. Then he goes to school and clings to the teacher that he loves because that teacher gives him the affirmation.
That's right.
Then he goes to the job
Mm-hmm.
and he joins a clique at the job and they talk about the boss.
Mm. Mm.
You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So you see this thing builds and builds and builds. And then when he's by himself,
Mm.
or her, when she's by herself, and they're doing a course and they're studying now, and they realize, I've got to do this. A lot of people cannot get through that without connecting with a ton of people
Yeah.
to see how they're doing with the course.
Mm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when you're left now in your own space to go after that job as a continent manager, a group manager, a EMEA manager, for Europe, or something that really gives you a lot of scope to do something, you are fearful.
Yeah.
Because you are fearful that the authentic you is not good enough.
Yeah.
And mind you, you are more than good enough.
Yeah.
So, but you just don't have the confidence.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you do it reluctantly. And because you didn't put your heart into, I'm not saying this is the case all the time, by the way, but I'm just giving you what happens as a side effect.
Yeah.
When you do decide to go for it now, and then somebody gets it, sometimes you throw a race card, you throw so many other cards, not realizing that the pack you're playing from is your own cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combination of stuff that you have been dealt and that you fail to change. And therefore, these things are coming back to you.
Yeah, I like what
So you put a full stop to it all and say, listen, time to move forward. This is it. You might have been made redundant. And you probably made a few mistakes. But now you say, time to go forward. Get a hold of yourself. Say, listen, I can do this. Surround yourself with every piece of content, every person, if you're a Christian, find some word that really speaks to you and telling you can do this. And you begin to really go down that. That don't mean all of a sudden you become so holy and moly and, high above yourself that somebody can't even say morning. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. All I'm trying to reiterate with all my examples is just be real with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, we are still recapping from last week, okay?
I think we better get on with it and be real now, is it?
We're so recapping. But no, you're absolutely right, sir. And one of the other things that we've mentioned, I think last week, this or the week before was we've mentioned the pathway, isn't it? There's a specific path that you and I are supposed to take that bring us to our dream. But obviously, the main thing that we spoke about last week was the people's question, and we're talking about uh, surrounding ourselves with the right team and having the right people on board, and the importance of that. Because what's the use of building a dream if I believe I can build a dream all by myself, which means my dream is not big enough. Uh, if everything that I'm dreaming of it, like I know I've already got all the skills, all the equipment, everything now, something is wrong. We're not dreaming big enough. But I think we were touching on some very powerful pointers last week. When the last week's session, if you did not listen to last week's session, you need to. You guys need to jump in there and just have a listen to it, because it was just amazing. It was truly life changing.
Yes.
Because we it's just been, I mean, we've come to the understanding that we will not be able to complete whatever it is that we are building. Or don't even talk, we might not even be able to start what it is we're looking to build if we do not have the right kind of a mindset and the right kind of people on board. And obviously there are certain kind of people that we are looking to connect ourselves with. We kind of like looked at that, and we mentioned that one of the things actually I want to just bring up this evening is my dream needs to include people who inspire me, and obviously we kind of like, I mean, I think you were just kind of like already being prophetic, sir. you were already touching on that this evening, because it's good for us to be inspired. Because why it is important to have people on your team that inspire you? Why do you think it's important? Why do you think
inspiration is fuel? Basically, you can't go nowhere without fuel.
That's it.
You don't have food, you can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're right when you were saying, because the foundation for all of that is basically still going to be you. The foundation for all of that is you, and that attracts, the authentic you will attract the people that you need in order to realize that. Now, in every one of these, you may complain as a person that, oh, John is such a great person, but he just does not have. I was hoping that John would have this in him. Be grateful for what John came with, because you're not going to find everything in one person.
That's it. That's
God
key.
did not make Adam alone. He made Adam and Eve. Yeah. So everybody has got something that they're going to bring to the table that they're good at.
Yeah.
If you try to extract everything from one person, you're going to kill. You're going to kill that whole thing completely. You got to understand that the people who are going to inspire you have certain deposits in them. That's right. Going to be it.
That's right.
Right? You're going to have multiple, and you're going to have some people who are going to be there to see you throughout the journey, and you have some people who will come for a particular time. You also got to understand that. And appreciate that.
That's right.
So you may have inspiration that comes from somebody who you will never meet.
Yeah.
You will never speak to them. You will never hear their voice through a telephone, but you might get them through a podcast. And for the life of you, you will not be able to remember their name, where you saw that podcast. But whatever they said resonated, that's it.
That's right.
That will lead you to go and read some book and do some other stuff. You
Yeah.
got to understand that is how it works, because you have to stay on the move.
Yeah.
But if you keep trying to just recreate that moment because the moment feels so sweet and you gotta keep being on the move. When you have a dream going and you have stuff going, remember, you are living. These things are also living things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not because you think a dream is a thing. It's living. It's like an organism.
Yeah. Because we give birth to dreams, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah,
There
we
you
give
go.
birth to
There you
dreams.
go. So you really gotta grab the thing that, number one, it's gonna start with you, and with you being you. Until you get to that headspace, you will not be able, because what's gonna happen? Inspiration can overwhelm you and cause your dream to overcome you.
Preach it. Hey, that's a t-shirt right there. Say it again, sir. Say it again. Say it again.
That's a good one. I can't remember.
Say it again.
No, but, what I'm trying to get at is that you being the real you brings out the qualities that is needed to see that dream come to birth. That is going to see that thing come to reality. It's then going to cause the people who is needed to inspire you and see you through to become attracted to those things. And it sets the environment for growth. Well, when you don't work on being that authentic self, mind you, I said work on it, because it's not, like I said, it's not something that's just set in stone. As you grow, as you work on in it, you perfect it, right? And when I say perfect it, it doesn't mean suddenly you become, the sharp tick box. I am saying you go through phases, you go through stages. And then it means actually you can get to a stage now when the inspiration comes, you can handle it, you can execute, you can direct, you can lead from any angle. And then you don't end up in a situation where all of a sudden you become overwhelmed. And that's what I mean by the dream can overtake you. Because sometimes what we want to do is control. And control is something where, in business, it's very easy for people to say, I don't feel like if I'm in control. And we need to check ourselves when we walk into that position, because it means actually there's something we're not paying attention to here that we have to be doing, that we're expecting somebody else to do. So in terms of sharpening yourself and allowing that yourself to grow, you've suddenly stopped and you've passed on that buck, that personal buck that you're supposed to be dealing with to somebody else. No, you have to deal with those things and you have to grow. And why? Because it's you, the one with the vision and the dream, and you know exactly where this thing should be steering. So when those people come and inspire you, I'm trying to think as inspiration, like let's just for a minute think of, and those songs are a bit crazy, but work with me. Think of a man as a woman. And so the woman has got the hairdresser. She's got the pedicure, person doing the manicure, sorry. She's got the person doing the pedicure. My son is showing me something, sorry. She's got the person who is probably doing the massage. Yeah, all the things. So inspiration, the hairstylist. Inspiration, the pedicure. Inspiration, the manicure. Inspiration, yeah. And all I'm trying to say, you got all these people at work, and she's still gotta, I don't want to use the word stay in control, but she's now got to absorb all of these things in order so at the end she can radiate this beauty. Now, let's assume that this beauty that's radiating could land her into a modeling society.
Mm. Mm.
If she's single, land her the guy that she's after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You begin to see the areas in which she has positively affected, because if she does this and she allows her inner beauty plus outer beauty to connect,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she inspires younger girls.
Yeah.
She inspires women her age and even older.
Mm.
You understand? Better yet, if she believes so much in herself and she's not using a ton of weight loss stuff, but she's just being her natural self, she's doing a bit of exercise, you begin to see all the angles. So let's go back to us men. If the guy is a footballer, so he gets the massages, he does his exercises. The guy who is coaching him as a footballer is not necessarily the guy who's going to be at the gym with him, making sure that he's doing the right type of stuff to deal with the game that he has coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And when he goes out there and he does the best he can do, he inspires kids, he inspires grown men.
Yeah.
So this might sound, oh, Clinton, you choose a footballer, or it's sound all hairy fairy. Actually, no. I'm trying to show you that being authentic self does so much. The inspiration that then can come from as so many different things. Maybe the way how you speak, maybe the inspiration could be something to remind you that you've got this deposit in you and that you can do it.
Mm.
Yeah. And then that inspiration then comes alive. Because how does most inspiration come? If it's a person that is talking to you, they inspire you. Next thing you know, that person could have been led to you to become your CEO for your company.
Yeah.
But if you have and display the wrong attitude, all of a sudden, that what could have become there and grow suddenly has been cut. And you are sent back to the drawing board without realizing you need to go. Yeah. And so that is why you get this thing where after some conversations and after certain things, you feel as though you need to do so much more. And you go into a mode of self-reflecting. And you sometimes you go really too deep that you shouldn't really go, when all it is, it's a tweak of your attitude. So yeah.
Wow, gentlemen, I'm telling you, today, my brother's on another level today. I'm just soaking everything in. It's important. Sometimes you just gotta sit there and you just need to receive, because because certain things we have to be at a place we can see things from so many different perspectives.
Yes.
And I think when somebody is speaking on a specific topic, because this is why it's called a mastermind, isn't it? Because if somebody sees it from one angle, it's like, wow, there's like revelation right there. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for blessing us with that, sir. That's really amazing. Well, we are right at the top of the hour, and I know that we were recapping for the whole session, but somebody needed to hear that. And it's just, I think this is kind of like concluding us talking about us pursuing our dreams, and obviously it's just for now. We'll see where we pick up next week. But listen here, I hope that whatever we shared this evening was helpful. Just add it to your travel kit. In Afrikaans, you would say spatkos. It's food for the road. It's food for the road. So and sometimes we think, I don't need that. No, you don't know when you will need it. I don't know when I will need it. So I'll put it in my doggy bag, and I continue to walk. Why? Because we are on a journey. We are on a journey becoming better. We are on a journey improving and continue to build. And we are grateful for you just watching this and jumping on here to to get some value, and I hope that we have been giving value. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Richie, thank you so much for taking out the time. Appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome.
Once again, it's been an amazing hour spent and well said. So let's do it again next week, and I'm looking forward for us to tomorrow enjoy the Queen celebration. All right.
Oh yes.
enjoy. All right, gentlemen. See you all next week. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.